So Proverbs 11 continue Proverbs 10 in the contrast between the upright and the wicked, and it talks about how the wicked will cause trouble for himself and for his own household, but the righteous God will deliver. And then when God deliver the righteous, the wicked will take the place to get whatever the righteous was supposed to get. We do know um like sometimes it takes a few generations, like I like for example, if a father is wrongfully killed by a wicked person, then it might, he obviously die and it's not delivered like right then and there, but his children, God will deliver them. So that's what I think. I don't know. I mean, God knows like who are people that he considered to be righteous, people that follow him with his whole heart. So he has a more like a broad view of it, but from what I see, that's what I observe, but it's very minimal. And of course I can't see people's hearts, so I don't know if they belong to him in the first place. So, but basically the verses that stood out to me was right here. So the perversity of the treacherous will destroy them, in contrast with the integrity of the upright will guide them. So the integrity of the upright is based on following the word of God and following God's commandment, and like trusting in God. So if they walk in God's way, then they will be it, and they maintain their integrity. Like the person that came to mind is Daniel. Then God will guide them. It's not the integrity that will guide them, but because of their integrity and because of their trust in God, God will guide them. And then right here, so like the wicked will fall by their own wickedness. Then the righteousness of the upright will rescue them, similar to what happened to Daniel. And then the thing that stood out to me was right here, where is it? Oh, verse 14 is a verse that I really like. When there is no guidance, the people fall, but in an abundance of counselors, there is victory. We need to get our head together and look at things through different perspective, and when we reach a conclusion with different advisors like that, and especially when prayer is prioritized, then we will reach a good solution. And then, so the guarantor for a stranger will certainly suffer for it, but one who hates being a guarantor is secure. So, yeah, like, I think that's wise. Right here, where is it? As a ring of gold in a pig's snout, so is a beautiful woman who lacks discretion. So I had to read that a couple of times, and when I read it, and then I'm like, what is being compared? So a ring of gold to a beautiful woman. So the beauty of a woman, I think, is compared to a ring of gold, and the pig's snout is actually the woman. So a pig's snout is not very attractive, but the ring of gold is attractive in a pig's snout. And so the woman who lacks discretion is compared to pretty much a pig's snout being not attractive. Her beauty is just compared to a small ring in that snout, and that's pretty much it. So when I see that parallel like imagery, I feel like that is so true, because beauty, it's very like small. It's apparent, like people when they look at beautiful woman, they see her beauty right away and it's attractive, but the rest of her is not. A person who lacks discretion, who flaunts around what she have, who is not modest, is not humble, is not godly. I mean, her beauty is all there is to her. There's nothing else to that, that is good. So that's why I feel like women who say, oh, it's my body, I can do whatever I want to do with it, those are people who lack discretion, and those are people that invites hurt into their lives. They're chasing after relationship that doesn't last, men without character, men who abuse them, men who only care about what they have to offer physically. And so I mean, and they don't only hurt themselves. If they live a lifestyle like that, they hurt their children too, because they're gonna, they probably will get pregnant out of wedlock, and then they might not even take care of their children because they're just focused on themselves. And so, or they might even abort the child, and they say, oh, it's my body, I can do whatever I want to do with it. And so, so I mean, I'm not talking about cases with rape and stuff like that, even though I strongly feel that even in the case of rape, the child did nothing wrong to deserve death. And aborting a child is giving a child a death sentence. Just because something bad happened to you doesn't mean that you can go off and kill someone else. And so, so that's the thoughts that came to me, and that verse stood out to me because I'm like, oh, what is it being compared to? So then thought about it a little bit more, and that's the conclusion I came to. And then verse 24 also stood out to me. One who scatter and yet increases all the more. I think of farmers, they scatter their seed and then it grows and it multiplies. But then there's one who is withhold what is justly due, and yet is result only in poverty. They don't scatter, they don't sow, and so they don't reap. And I think that actually make me think about tithing. Like, give to God what is due to him. He gave you the talent, he gave you the job, he gave you the time, the money, the resources. And so when you when you receive from him and then you're like holding on to that money tightly, you want to save it and you don't want to give back to God, God is not going to bless that. But if you freely give to him out of your goodness of your heart, then the Bible actually asks us to test God in that regard to see if he will let us go into poverty when we give to him what is his. So that stood out to me also. And then one who gives other plenty of water will himself be given plenty. And so that's how God works. You give, he gives you. You hold, he holds it from you. And so I think that's very biblical and consistent in the message of the Bible. And then one who trusts in his riches will fall, but the righteous will flourish like a green leaf. But right here, the riches right here. There's one that the richest part. Ruthless men attain riches. Ruthless men attain riches. So who wants to be rich, and that's all he think about. He'll be ruthless to get what he wants. Okay, and then it's the rich. All right, here. Riches do not benefit on the day of wrath, but righteousness rescues from death. So this actually remind me of the when God said that what is used to you to get the whole world but loses your soul. So even if you have all the riches in the world, like you have money and everything that you can possibly want, when you face God, all of that is dust. I mean, it does not save. Only salvation from God. And so righteousness is not our righteousness, because God said none is righteous. Everyone have sinned. But when you accept God to be your salvation, when you accept the gift of life from Jesus, knowing that Jesus died for your sin, and that all you need to do is accept his forgiveness and say, I am a sinner, please forgive me, and please, I accept you into my heart, then he will save you. And when he saves you, you become a righteous person in his eye. He forgives you. He cleanses you of your sin. And so this is something I always say. It's not good people who goes to heaven. It's forgiven people who goes to heaven. And so right here, when you stand in front of God and say, oh, I'm a multi-billionaire or whatever, trillionaire even, but you are not saved, you haven't confessed your sin, you haven't accepted Jesus into your life, you said, I rather spend my life chasing after money and wealth than to know if Jesus really died for me, and to know if what God revealed to me in the Bible is true, then you already chosen. Your life is to chase after riches, not chase after salvation. Chase after the thing that is most important, because this life is only temporal. It's only 100 years or so, but eternity is forever. And so you would rather spend all of eternity apart from God than to use the time that he has given you, the resources that he has given you to seek him, then that's your reward. And so riches do not benefit on the day of wrath, but the righteousness from God will rescue us from death. And that is true. God is the God of life. He can give life, and when we die, that's only passing through to another life that he will give, and he will give us life as children, because he is the God of life. He is not the God of death. So I hope that these kind of thoughts will help you to prioritize seeking God in your life.